Okay, it sees us, and going live in 3, 2, 1. I pushed the button. So it's up to you guys to tell us if we're live or not. Because we don't know. We could talk to ourselves for hours and hours.
I'll have to push the, go over there to the link and check.
Oh, that's just a running joke we do. You say hi anyway, because I'm sure we are live.
Oh, hello, we're live. Great.
It's always a joke. They have to tell us we're live to know we're live. But we have to ask them the question if they're live or not. So it's an answer question that makes no sense. Everyone just has to say, yes, you're live. So yeah. How are you guys doing today then?
Oh, doing pretty good. And we're so glad you could have us on and help push our little crowdfunding effort.
Little? I mean, it's doing quite well. You know, don't sell it. Don't sell it short.
We're just over the moon on this. You know, our last crowdfunding efforts, you know, came up a little short, but you know, we did have people to contribute. So this time, I pulled out all the stops. I followed the lessons of the master right there, and tried to emulate as much as I could. And voila, we have some success.
Well, you know, GoFundMe is a fine platform. I don't think it serves fan films particularly well. Indiegogo is a nice thing. You got to bring a certain level, and then people register that. You know, whereas Kickstarter is the original one, but it's A, too risky, and B, Indiegogo's the Trek domain. That's our baby. We took it over.
Definitely, I really enjoy Indiegogo.
And you guys are both in uniform. You got the memo.
Got the memo. Yes.
Unless he's Romulan, he could be cloaked. I mean, Stuart, are you cloaked? Say nothing if you're cloaked. Okay, we have our answer. So how old are these uniforms you're wearing then? Or are you on like both Mark 7s each, or you know, how many iterations of uniform have you had to go through over the many years?
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, mine is an original John Broughton. He made this for me when I filmed in 2014, right, Randy? We did Anchors Away.
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
Our very first one. So I've been able to keep in shape and get into it. And lovely wife upgraded from a commander to a captain when I took over the ship. I also have it a Novos that I bought. I think I bought it when we did our first Don't Have a Set production in 2016. And Randy, I think are you wearing your captain one, or are you wearing your commander one?
I'm wearing the good one that I've got. Is it cap? Yeah. Oh no, it's not captain.
No, see, I promoted him last episode, and he didn't wear his captain. So, but these
hi guys.
Hello. Yeah, we all match except for Randy. Which one of these does not belong with the other? Which one of these?
I'll just be disappearing shortly.
But yeah, they hold up pretty well.
We were talking about how many uniforms I've been through, Stuart. But hi, Stuart, welcome back. We said if you're a Romulan, you should keep silent, and I guess you're cloaked and you're a Romulan. So, yeah.
I decloak now. But I feel like since this is Trekyards and I'm the captain around here, I need something special. So
there you go. There you go. Now that's sharp.
Right.
And so if Randy's been promoted in the previous episode, everyone's a captain here except me. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Captain's been here.
Oh.
Randy's captain of engineering.
Oh. I feel great right now.
17 people here, 20 likes already. That's awesome. Hit like if you haven't, guys. And if you want to super chat and have any questions for the Dreadnought Dominion guys, by all means, speak up or forever hold your peace, I guess. They're here to answer questions. And if you've seen any of their projects, they're really fantastic. So check them out if you haven't. If you have some questions. Easy.
I'll start in the sharing now so you guys can talk amongst yourselves. Stuart, you don't have to be talking to yourself at this bit. What are you going to do?
Myself. I talk to the great audience out there.
But do you know what I mean, though? It's just like you get to have interaction now for the share bit.
It's true.
Goodness.
True.
Good luck with that, Stuart. And I'm still going to be out of it, so I have no idea. I'll see you guys in a minute.
right, cool. Yeah, guys, like I said, super chats are a great way to support the channel and help us out. And these guys are also doing an Indiegogo, so check that out as well, because they got some cool stuff on the way, which they're going to tell us about. But if you can support us by super chatting or clicking that join button, joining is a great way to support the channel. You can instantly become a commander, be the same rank as Samuel, or a captain, admiral, fleet admiral, or Federation president. They all help us on a monthly basis, so if you can, please do. Or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards, and that's another way to help us on a monthly basis. If you want to PayPal, you can do so. Just the information is in the description. Just head on over to, or not head on over, but go to PayPal, and trekyards@hotmail.com is where you send it. If you do that, though, let us know in the chat that you've done that, so we can read your comment or question via the email. And other than that, there's links down below for the Teespring store and the new TeePublic store, so get yourself some Trekyards merch. And yeah, hopefully you guys have some interesting questions and whatever for our guests today, because we don't usually have guests on lives, but this is kind of a special occasion, so it's great to have these guys on board. So anyway, nice to finally meet you, Gary and
Yes.
Randy. I've never actually talked to you until today. Samuel, of course, knows you pretty well, but
Oh yeah,
good to see you guys.
we bug Sam all the time, and
I know, I hear about it.
I send him messages sometimes saying, well, Sam will get this when he wakes up. And then all of a sudden Sam replies and I go, geez, it's 3 o'clock in the morning out there. He never sleeps.
No, he doesn't, and that's good. Yeah, he's kind of on California time, which is 3 hours behind me even. So it works out pretty well. So yeah, we got a super chat. I'll read that in a minute. Squadra Course, once Samuel gets back. He is sharing it around so we get some more viewers. But be sure you hit that like button, guys. 24 likes is good, but I think we could probably hit 30. So hit that like button if you haven't. But yeah. So I'm just going to wait for Samuel to get back, because that's how things work around here. We need him around. He does all your visual effects and stuff. Well, not all of them. I guess you were doing stuff before Samuel, right?
Yeah, just not to the degree and complexity that Sam does. For our first production or second production, we had Ken Thompson do some flybys, and he did the first Dreadnought model, and we're still using his renders for our opening, matter of fact. And then we had a new model by Joey Bonis, who knows a little bit more, and he used the software that Sam uses. It escapes me, and he did some great things for us. And then all of a sudden, Sam just entered our orbit and said, "Hey, how come you're not using me?" And I was like, "Wow, I didn't think we were up to your level. Who are we? We're just this piddly little fan film." But Sam shared some great ideas and did wonderful for the first production that he did. I think that was Redemption at Red Medusa, which was our real comeback episode, because the previous incarnations that we had put out were vignettes and shorts, which that guy writes. He's an amazing guy and just comes up with these ideas, and he came up with the Redemption at Red Medusa, and it just involved a lot of challenging, visually stimulating things. And we kind of gave that list to Sam with some trepidation, like, is it possible to do this? And then we would just paint it in broad strokes, and then Sam would go, blip, 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 email, how's that look? And
yeah. And Sam's always got great ideas and to contribute and make things more canon, or makes things make more sense. So that's always good to have somebody like that on board. So
definitely. Well, and we tell Sam he's like our unofficial other executive producer, because he handles all the story elements when it comes to the ship going around.
I leave you talk about ships straight away. There's no skipping on ships, is there? Which makes sense, Stuart.
We didn't talk about the ship. We didn't talk about the ship at all yet.
That's what I heard though. Ships.
You're not paying attention.
I was
We got
sharing.
some super chats before we get into anything else.
I even shared on Trek Shorts
Squadron
because
course.
Gary's a wonderful team member of Trek Shorts.
Yes,
Just
yes. Squadron course, $2. Woot for fan films. Keep Trek Canon alive. Absolutely, 100%. And Mark Lawrence, $5. Great to see more fan films come to life. They've always had the heart, but now they are looking amazing too. So, yeah, fan films are amazing.
And Mark is one of our Federation presidents, so if you guys want to salute the president, then you're welcome to, guys. Yes.
Salute.
There you go, Mark. Just for you. So yeah, we made it, guys, and obviously we're here to support, not just chat to you guys, because we did talk about Dreadnought Dominion when I did the Trek Shorts lives. Every time we showed a picture video, and at the end we talked about Dreadnought Dominion, so it's good to get you all together and show off the Indiegogo, which, when we organised this, was not doing as well, because who the hell knows how good it was going to do. And so now here you guys come, and it's kicking a lot of ass. Do you even need to be here and pitch it? I don't know, but there it is. Tell us how it's doing.
It's doing phenomenal. You know, the first couple of days, you know, I was really worried. No one's going to contribute, and then all of a sudden we had a great big donation, and then it's just going on, and right now we're at 80%. So in American dollars, we're at 4,025 of our 5,000 goal. So it's just amazing. We had one weekend where we had $1,000 donation, a $750 donation, and then somebody who had already given $500 gave us another $500. And even though those kinds of donations just wow me, I also want to thank all the people that give me 5, 10, and 25. And that's where I was hoping that most of the donations were going to come from, were just small donations, because we get a bunch of small donations, then we make gold. So when people see the 1,750 and 500, I appreciate the 25s as well, and everything that you give. And as Randy pointed out in our pitch video, every dollar that we raise goes on the screen. It goes into producing the show. And
we, I can sympathise. $25 genuinely, that money especially goes a long way, further than you think. You can buy quite a lot with that. Not so much with a 5, although every 5 is appreciated, but 25 is a good strong amount. Obviously, the $500 changes the game. That allows that's like a chunk of what you need, but 25 is a big deal. Now, shall we just get talking, or shall we show the pitch video? What do you guys think?
Yeah, fill the pitch video up.
So everyone mute. Everyone gets 10 minutes off. So everyone mute.
Yay!
And I'll play it.
Hello, I'm Gary Davis, one of the executive producers and the showrunner for Dreadnought Dominion. What is Dreadnought Dominion? Well, it's a Star Trek fan film set in the 3rd season of the original series aboard a Federation-class Dreadnought, which is from the 1975 Franz Joseph Technical Manual. The show follows Captain Jason Brousseau, who I play, and his gallant crew who, from adventure to adventure, battle forces known and unknown, unraveling mysteries, and generally just keeping the peace in their time. We've been making Dreadnought Dominion since 2014 and have to date 11 completed projects, with more in post and pre-production. I'm joined by a very dedicated group of individuals who give their time, energy, and talents to help me pull off what may look easy, but is in fact one of the hardest but most rewarding endeavors, making fan-produced Star Trek. And that's what I'd like to talk to you about today. We're trying to do some crowdfunding. We're asking your help to keep that endeavor alive and allow us to continue to bring our adventures to life for your enjoyment. The awesome thing about crowdfunding is that we aren't asking for a few to donate a great deal, but many to donate just a little. The little bits add up, and the more people we get, the more successful the crowdfunding becomes. What do we need crowdfunding for? Great question. First, we have to pay for our venue, the place we make the magic happen, the studio. We filmed in Kingsland, Georgia at the Neutral Zone Studios, a lovingly created, near-perfect replica of the studio used by the original series back in the 60s. The studio is the real thing. It looks just like what I had in the original show. While the studio can't make money off of fan films who film there, we still need to help them keep the lights on, literally. Paying for the utilities, the wear and tear on the studio lights, upkeep on the sets, and of course, to pay the studio workers for their time in helping us shoot our productions. Secondly, the costumes. Whoa! Hey, secondly, the costumes. We so need to make our actors look the part. We use several sources to get our actors into character, and we try to make them look as accurate as you have seen them on the original series. Not only costumes, but alterations, rank braid, patches, and logos. We try really hard to make everybody look fabulous. And at the end of our productions, I give these to the actors who came and acted in our show. I can't pay them for their time, but I want to give them a memento to remember making Dreadnought Dominion. Oh, okay. And CGI. What is Star Trek without the cutscenes from inside the ship to the actual ship? Unlike the 60s, we don't employ models. Well, we do in a way, just not physical models, but 3D rendered ones. We employ professionals who build, animate, and render each tailor-made scene for these productions. This gives our productions the Star Trek feel. And let's face it, folks, that's why we watch Star Trek fan films, to make us suspend belief in just a short time and try to imagine that we are watching some lost or additional adventure that we may have missed from the original series. Well, that's what I like to imagine. Okay, let's hear from other folks who are involved in producing Dreadnought Dominion. Well, I don't have a mic to pass. I'll just hand them this phaser. Let me introduce David R. Wren, my partner in crime in making Dreadnought Dominion. We call him Randy. Randy, help me out. Why else do we do crowdfunding?
Thanks, Gary. You know, something else that's near and dear to our hearts is food. But seriously, an army runs on its stomach. And we have a small army of people in that studio sometimes, up to, I think, 25 is our max at one time. And we have to feed them snacks, so we have to give them lunch and water, and we usually have some coffee and some soft drinks. And while it's not a night at the Ritz or anything, the cost adds up. All those people over 2, 3, 4 days, there's a lot of expenditure. So, so a little help with that would really be appreciated. It would really go a long ways. You know, there's even cost in post-production. Gary and I have to have Dropbox, a professional level Dropbox, and OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive, to keep these files on so that we can both get at them to edit them. And that costs like $40 a month or something between the two of them. Then there's SD cards and things on the sets, props that have to be made. And even if we're making the props, saving money that way, the materials still cost money. A lot of money goes into these productions, folks, a lot. And it would really help. You think a couple of bucks is not going to help? Well, a bunch of people giving a couple of bucks will make a big difference. So if you can spare a few bucks, we sure could use it. And we promise, didn't mean to point this at you, but we promise that every bit of it will go on the screen. You'll see the difference. Thank you. Oh, look, there's Alan. Yes, Alan, what do you got?
Thank you, Randy. Hi, I'm Alan Anderson, sound department for Dreadnought Dominion. I'm the guy behind the scenes recording all the sound. I got a great boom op, Dan Scanlon. You'll meet him shortly. Our biggest expense is consumables. The tapes, the batteries, the SD cards. Since pandemic, cleaning supplies. It's been normal to actually clean microphones at the end of the day or between talent. It goes from one talent to another. But now we're cleaning it before we put it on, after we take them off, put it back on for lunch breaks. So we're going through that a lot. And as you know, prices of those things have gone through the roof. So anything you can do to help us out so we can continue making these great episodes for you, I'd appreciate that. Hey, Dan, here you go.
Thank you very much, Alan. Nice to get my phaser back. I'm Dan Scanlon. I play Commander Don Chamberlain on board the wonderful Dreadnought Dominion, but I also have the honor of being one of the lifelong audio guys, so basically holding the boom mic or plugging in the wireless mic to get the audio for these wonderful episodes. I'm also a supplier of some of the props, and those that aren't built by Gary Davis and others will pull from our collection and bring in. And that brings me to the point I've got right now. Here we are in this wonderful set at the Neutral Zone Studios, and a lot of this, all of this was built with the volunteers. As we do Dreadnought Dominion, it's all volunteers. We have to buy or build some of our props. We have to buy batteries, SD cards to record everything on. We've got to bring people in and feed them lunch because you can't shoot a video on Dreams. So what we're asking you to do is a little gold-pressed platinum, some credits, a few dollars that you can help keep Dreadnought Dominion, keep this battlecruiser starship flying with more episodes. So consider giving us a little extra so that we can keep on doing this. That's all we're asking. And here at Dreadnought Dominion, we just say peace and long life. And again, nice to get my phaser back.
Hey, where's my phaser?
Oh, all right, Gary, if you really want it.
Thanks. I thought I lost you, little buddy. Well, thank you for listening to our little pitch. I hope that you decide to contribute a little bit and become part of our family. Because anybody who contributes does become part of making this production. And we appreciate any donation that you can give us. Big or small, anything that you can give would be very appreciated. Thank you for your time.
And he could have just asked me to change that last shot to go at warp. I mean, it just goes out to... I don't know that before. You could just ask me to do that. Unmute, guys, unmute.
Unmuting is good.
Still muted, Gary. Still muted.
Yeah.
Gary. Still muted.
I'm unmuted.
Now you're not muted.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't want to bother you.
You say that. You say that. Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Stuart?
No, that was really impressive. I love the handing off of the phaser. That was a great little touch. No, might have supported it. I don't know. Who knows? Might have to check your donations.
Do I dare refresh? Is that what you're saying? Should refresh?
Probably should.
2280 2952. But obviously that's English. 82%.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got some. It was $100, I think. That's awesome.
How many
2%.
days do you have left here? 14 days left. Okay.
13 days. We still got half the month.
Still lots of time. I'm gonna pin the link at the top of the chat so people can just click it.
And there may or may not be a big thing coming in the last sort of week, which you guys are not expecting. I haven't even started yet. It's so much work, but it'll be good.
Who's not expecting? Gary and Randy, or
everyone watching
themselves?
live? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Matt Boardman though throws in $5.
Yes.
Will Dreadnought Dominion ever visit the Mirror Universe, and will the rest of the crew ever find out who Quincy is?
Spoilers. So many spoilers.
That's a good question. The problem with everybody finding out who Quincy is that then it would be Quincy, get us out of this, and Quincy could, and we don't want to rely on Quincy to solve all our problems, and that would be boring, you know. And so it's more fun if he sticks his nose in and messes with us every once in a while, and we never find out. That's not to say that we won't ever, but there's no plans for it yet.
Well, I mean, the Mirror Universe thing is a good idea. Just saying, Mirror Universe Dreadnought crew could be kind of impressive.
Well,
we had one little shot of Gary in the Mirror Universe, right, Gary?
Oh, we had one production. It was Command and Conquer, where I was. It was the sequel. It was the sequel of Chain of Command. Chain of Command was our first. Didn't have a set production, so I shot it in my office, and it was my first prop. You know, I built the viewer, and I talked to Vance Major, who had a set in Oklahoma, and then Vance called me a year later and said, can you make an agony booth? And I said, what? He says, can you make an agony booth? Because I want to remake Command and Conquer and do the story, but in the Mirror Universe. So we did. We made costumes. We made an agony booth. And Randy got an impressive eye patch
with sparklies.
Sparklies too. And we were in the Mirror Universe. So that was really fun to do.
In my universe, an agony booth is just a small phone booth that only has a little tiny view screen or a little tiny iPad, and all it plays is like JJ and Discovery.
That's
Wowza.
Better than anything they have in the Mirror Universe.
Although I know we've briefly talked about having this thing that will show off at the end of the campaign, having that go into Mirror Universe to show off some proper sexy visuals for Mirror, while still remaining static. So getting best of both worlds. I keep saying that, Stuart, but it's true.
You're playing.
I am, because we could, you own the copyright to this stuff, which means you can show it. Makes it so much easier. Visuals, right. My God. But I want to ask you both, sort of in turn, then, because you've been doing this for quite a while now. With good, information and don't short answer it. What does it mean to be a fan filmmaker to you? I'll start with Gary and then go Randy. What does it mean to you?
What's it mean to me? Well, I sum it up with one expression that the director of our second episode, we were watching a scene back, and he was looking at the scene like this, and then he just backed up and he smiled and he says, "We're making Star Trek." And that's how he did it. Scotty Whitehurst. Never forget that. So that's what it means to me to be a fan film producer and showrunner, is we're making Star Trek. Because, back in the 70s, after the Star Trek cartoon, there was nothing. And you had to read the books. And, there weren't very many of those. And some of those were embarrassing to read. So, now that I got this tremendous writer, or is it, he's down below me, this tremendous writer who comes up with these stories, and then we can stand on those sets and put these costumes on, and we can make Star Trek, and it's everything to me.
Wow. I don't know if I can come close to that. You're so eloquent. To me, I've always wanted to be creative. From the time I was a little kid, I wanted to be able to draw, and I couldn't. And I wanted to paint, and I couldn't. I wanted to sculpt and this and that. I tried every way I could think of to be creative and create something artistic. And never even occurred to me until the technology was here that I could do video, that I could make a TV show, basically. And now I can. And am I going to pass that up? No, no way. And it's amazing to me. I don't know if this is on topic or not, but it's amazing to me that we can, because not that many years ago, you would have to go crawling to somebody with money to make something like this, and to be able to do it on a limited budget is just a gift, you know, and I don't turn down gifts easily either.
Is there any sort of need to tell stories outside of TOS, or is that niche so all-absorbing that you're just happy to stay in that zone?
We've done a little of that. We have a series called What Lies Beyond, and it's what am I trying to think of, Gary? Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, yeah.
It's a Twilight Zone type show.
Anthology series.
Yeah, and it has the little twist endings. Oh, dang, I gave them all away. Spoiler alert, they all have twist endings. And they're all involve some sort of supernatural or science fiction theme. And we did 4 episodes of that, and we're pretty proud of them. That was and Gary helped. I mean, they were all produced down here in North Carolina, but Gary helped with visual effects and a lot of anything. I just said, "Can you get me a graphic of this, Gary?" And he'd come back with it. And so check that out sometime. That's a neat little show, and I'd love to get back to it and do some more sometime. But we just spend all our time on Dreadnought Dominion.
Great. One question that I had off the top was, why the Dreadnought? And I know we don't want to talk about the ship too much. Samuel's like balking at me already, but
oh, we've got a dedicated slot for that, yeah.
I know, but I'm a huge fan of the Dreadnought. Have been ever since I first saw the technical manual.
Stuart? News to me.
I think I am. Yeah.
As if that was our 4th episode or something. And
so why did you pick the Dreadnought? Is it just something you've always loved, or did you just want to see something new out there, exploring around?
Well, we can't take credit for that. That goes back to our series creator, Frank Parker. Now, Frank and Randy were involved in Starship Farragut down when they had Farragut Studios, and Frank wanted to do it his own show. And he didn't want to be a cookie cutter type fan film, because you have all these heavy cruisers out there that they're the centerpiece of all these fan films. So he chose the Dreadnought. And he even got permission to use the Dreadnought from Franz Joseph Schubert, I can't remember his last name, his daughter, and said, hey, we want to use this, and she gave permission. Matter of fact, she's even commented on some of our videos, and it's great having her a fan of Dreadnought Dominion. But when Frank came to me and said, hey, do you have a story we want to be able to use for Dreadnought Dominion, I had written countless Star Trek short stories in my high school and my Navy days, and picked one out and gave it to Randy, who he took the phone book and turned it into a script. So, and that's what he did. He took my story and turned it into a script. But we loved Frank's idea of using the Dreadnought because it was different. And then we weren't Starship Dominion. It was Dreadnought Dominion. So a different name vibe and a different ship. I just fell in love with the concept as soon as he pitched it to me.
And it's
so my next question. Oh, go ahead, Randy.
Something that happens because of that. We really didn't want our show to be centered around action and violence and fighting, and whether it be ship to ship or anything like that. I mean, we're not against it, and we may have some, but so far we've really kind of avoided that sort of thing. But we have a Dreadnought, and the Dreadnought to me looks like something you would park next to a planet that's giving you a hard time, like with battleship diplomacy. Yeah. Park that Dreadnought out there and say, fall in line, guys. But so we look like a bulldog and act like a poodle, I guess.
That's good. So when are you going to have a Foley class show up and save the day? Do they even know what the Foley class is?
Stuart, what's the Foley class? I'll do the interview for them.
It's my Dreadnought. Hold on.
Because him being a
Dreadnought
dreadnought
design.
addict is a understatement.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, similar but different. I didn't want it to look like the Franz Joseph one, so did a little bit. We did a whole episode on it.
I
had
like
a resin model of it.
I like it. Yeah, I got resin models, 3D printed models. That is nice. I like that. Maybe we'll have to include that and make it Dominion's little brother.
Like little.
We'll
I'd
need
like to see them
digital
two both
copies.
cruising side by side sometime. That would be really great. So
And I was
Definitely.
going
Yeah.
to ask, and you sort of half answered, but I want to ask it in my own way as well. By having a non-2S Connie, which even if it's not functionally, it's just the place the story takes place, having this bigger ship says something in the universe. And so what stories, how does that change your writing-ness? Because it is a dreadnought, it is implied a different profile, or really is it still just the thing you're on? It could be a Connie, it could be a Sad, and it makes no difference. Or how conscious is the well, we're a bloody dreadnought, which there might only be 4 or 5 of? How much does that factor into the storytelling?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not from when I'm writing the story. I don't think anything about that. That's not to say that at some point in the future there might be an episode where we are sent out to do some heavy lifting. But for right now, it's just the same sort of stories that you would have seen in the on TOS. Where it's just some character stories and mysteries. And maybe a little. I try to get a little adventure in there, a little danger. In every episode, I try to get some little element of danger, even if it's just a quick pistol fight or something, gunfight.
yeah,
Or yeah, huh?
Well, because then Gary, what do you think then? Because if we know there are 12 Connies, and each one of those had a captain for a specific reason that showed a lot of talent to be one of the 12. We don't know how many dreadnoughts there are, but potentially less than 12. So what do you think that says about your character to be given the command of one of these top tier ships? And what do you think that says about him?
It says that Brousseau really knows his stuff because he came up with the fleet, helping design and implement construction of these, and then he was the XO of the Lexington, and then and Grissom got the he needed a new XO, so he grabbed the most experienced XO that he could possibly grab, and that was Brousseau. And then when Grissom went off to the academy, Starfleet said, "Hey, why don't you stick aboard? The Dominion a lot, and you could be your new skipper." So I think it says that he knows his stuff.
We've got 2 more super chats in real quick. Squadra Course, $2 bonus woot for Mirror Universe episodes. And Zamir Patois puts in £2 for your Star Trek Jurassic Park crossover. That'd be interesting. Yeah.
Well, and to double down my last question, but in a cinematic way, do you think you've now written the Dreadnought in any different way? Now you can do pretty much whatever visual effects you want. So I keep showing the show reel. It can now do stuff. Has that factored in at all to your writing, maybe?
Well, let me address this real quick, Randy. Then you can jump in. I think the Dreadnought has proven to be somebody that could throw its weight around, and we have. Like the episode that you're just showing right here. And we go out and we capture bad guys, and we don't need to beat them up. We just grab them and just say, we're kind of like shaking the school bully, saying, "You got to stop it and you behave." So yeah, it's carry a big stick, but wave it around too. So I don't think we're a poodle, Randy. I think we're a bulldog, and we got to bark and just showing the flag. So the Dreadnought is kind of like the big white fleet that Teddy Roosevelt sent around, because you don't need to shoot the big guns. You just need to have them.
Yeah, exactly.
And just remember, you have aft torpedo launchers. Just remember that. I built them in there for a reason.
That's right.
You can use them.
Matt Boardman, $5. When will we see Captain Foley and Commander Cocking's cameo in Dreadnought Dominion?
Hey. Definitely. Mr. Writer, get on that.
Yeah, that could be done fairly easily, I think.
But then you get into
Okay.
confusing Canon, because then Stuart's TOS, but is he TOS? And I'm a Voyager first contact era character, so it's not me, but it's all.
Doesn't
Do
matter.
you go fan film canon, or do
you
you go
put-
Trekyards canon?
You put
Hey, science
much
fiction. You
emphasis on that.
can find a way to
Just
do
have-
almost anything.
That's
Yeah.
true. That is
Need to go
true.
into a temporal warp thing,
Yeah.
bubble, whatever.
They happen often.
That's
I
right.
just saw a shuttle crash, and it's very reminiscent of Space 1999 Eagle crash.
Yeah, that
Is that
Yeah.
on purpose?
yes, this is my montage to Space 1999. So I used their opening and I put all our thing in there, and I rendered that myself. Matter of fact, I spun the shuttlecraft and put it over the Eagle crashing. So
Oh, nice.
I have fun with these. I've done a Space 1999. I've done a Mission Impossible. I did a Lost in Space, and I've done rock videos.
Y50.
Hawaii. Did I say Hawaii 5? Yeah. Yeah. There's Eagle crashing, but I really like doing that. Sometimes when I don't have a production to edit, I just can't sit still, so I'll think of something, and gosh darn that guy, because sometimes he'll message me and says, "Can you do something real quick? Really something simple," and he knows that I can't do anything simple, so. I'll throw it together. I'll stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning, and at 3 o'clock I'm finally rendering it and saying, "There, it's done." but I like people like my writer Randy and Sam with the CGIs. You push us. You push us to do better, and that's what we like to do.
Well, do you remember what I said to you after, not the first time you said hi to me to work on stuff, the second time when we actually started properly working? Do you remember what I said as a one of the things I liked about you guys? Can you remember?
There's so many things you like about us, right?
That's a good sidestep of the question. I like it. No, I said that you guys always try to be better. You might have started from a weaker place, but that's fine if you always improve. Just about
Yes.
improving each time, because then the more you'll do, the better you'll get, and that means who knows in 5 years where you'll be. Well, better, bigger, cooler. That's great. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, and we like constructive criticism. We don't really appreciate the comments that you're too old, you're too fat to be in the show, because Randy and I we just can't help that. We're sorry, but that's why we say we're the Dreadnought Dominion. We're the old guys. That's right. We're the old guys. We're the older, the wiser, and there's a reason that we're older.
experienced ones.
We're experienced. So when we get a constructive criticism saying, "Hey, do you think you can improve upon this?" then Randy and I listen. Even one of our own castmates, he saw my transporter effect, and he goes, "Gary, it needs to look more like the original series." So I try to make it look a little bit better and up my game. And then that darn writer of mine, he keeps putting transporter scenes in every single episode. So I got to cut out every single person.
But it is satisfying though when it goes well. And I said that about your Indiegogo video. I made some constructive notes, and he came back with it drastically better, like drastically. And I was like, fantastic. And then all the fans benefited.
Yeah. And at the end of that video, I was like, wow, the criticism was perfect. And it's not, it's that kind of criticism that says it's bad. No, hey, it would be better if you did this. And and that's, like I said, I'm retired Navy, and that's how my supervisors treated me, and I treated my subordinates. I never said you're doing a bad job. It's this, you need to do this, and then you can improve.
Well, there's also, we are all standing on the shoulders of previous fan filmmakers. We know we're not as good as Continues or Renegades or people that have had obviously bigger budgets, proper professionals, etc. So the fact is we can always do better, because if we were the best we could be, we'd look as good as the new Star Wars films. You know what I mean? Like, there's always better. It depends how far you want to push yourself. That's all it is. But often it can be, you don't necessarily see where something might be slightly flawed until you have a new fresh set of eyes, or you find a new piece of software that can do one thing massively quicker, and suddenly everything else becomes easier, quicker, faster, and boom, you just up your own quality. That's why I said to you guys, get a better camera, because the camera will make all the visuals look a certain quality, and that helps a ton. And that's the only thing. Some of these episodes, just the camera's just better, and it doesn't matter how bad the acting may be in some spots. If it kind of feels more cinematic, that adds, it helps, rather than a phone where it just looks like a phone and you can't really hide that.
That's why I endeavor to work on these costumes as best as I can, because if we can't be better actors or be in better shape, at least we can look good, and these things fit, and they're just all perfect. So I'm very anal about details, and Randy's anal about the writing and making the stories right, and I'm about the details.
Well, actually, what do you think? I mean, this is to each of you separately. What do you think you guys do best as Dreadnought Dominion? And not a generalization, but a specific thing, part of the production, that you both think you do best as a team, like as the film itself, the group.
What Dreadnought Dominion is the best, or
at least its best elements to you guys. What do you think?
Well, I'll start. It's the collaborative nature of our productions. Randy and I are the executive producers. I'm the showrunner. I fund things, but everybody on the set has a say. And Randy's the director, but we've had stagehands, people that run the lights, come up to us and say, "Hey, I think this shot would be better if we did this." Or we've had the random drop-in go, "I got an idea." And Randy and I are not above listening to everybody. And our first production, the Redemption at Red Medusa, we had Michael Klug, our director of photography, who does television. He does good stuff. So I'm with Randy, who's an incredible talent, and Michael and myself, and we all had conflicting ideas. But all three of us had no ego, and we listened to the other. And sometimes I won the argument, which wasn't even an argument. Other times Randy did, and other times Michael did, because we listened. And that's what I think that Dreadnought Dominion does exceptionally well, is the collaborative nature. And I've heard that from the people that work on our stuff. They said, it's just, we just boom, 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 get that out, and there's an idea, let's do that. And it shows on the screen. And I'm most proud when I see those moments, and I go, I didn't think of that, somebody else did. And it's nice not having to be the smartest person in the room. And I'm surrounded by lots of smart people.
Also, one of the questions I was going to ask you about the crew of the Dominion. Are they all friends of yours, or how did you get everybody together? Tell us a little bit about each character and the actor.
Oh, wow. That's really a two-part question. The first part is some of the characters and people we inherited. They were already part of the previous regimes, Starship Farragut, Star Trek Continues. And then this guy, who he just puts out word saying, "Hey, we're shooting a Star Trek show in Kingsland, Georgia," and all these amazing actors and actresses just drive on down and book themselves hotel rooms, and it's amazing. So, Randy, why don't you talk about the actors that you bring us?
Oh yeah, well, if I have trouble with some of the names, help me out. But our one regular cast member who plays Lieutenant Piper,
Tracy Frank.
Tracy Frank. I'm terrible with names. He's got to be in my memory. So, but Tracy Frank is a fabulous actress. She's amazing to watch. And I was actually looking for somebody to play Piper, and I was asking someone else, and they said, I can't do it myself, but what about this friend of mine? And so I talked to her. She came down, and I think it was on the set the first day. She said, "You're not going to believe this, but I've been an actress for several years now, and the one thing on my bucket list is to be in a Star Trek show. See,
Nice.
that's my ultimate goal. I want to be in a Star Trek show and not get killed. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
no red
so-
shirt for them.
we're so fortunate to have her, and we had Art Parcells, a wonderful actor. He was in an episode of What Lies Beyond. He was in The Heist, and he was our director of photography. His assistant director of photography, DP, on our last episode. Let's see who else. It's just there's so many. Over the past few years, there's been probably a dozen or more that are just people I know in my acting circles up here in Charlotte. I've just approached and said, "Would you like to do this?" And they come on down and they do it, and they just knock it out of the park, which is a nice thing to have, because one thing I'm proud about our show is that we are the traditional fan film. We're not somebody who goes out and auditions a lot of people, and you've got to be top notch before you make it on our show. We hire people to be on the show that we don't even know them, and they just come in. Good example of that is Joan Savage. She plays our nurse and our Romulan captain, and the Romulan captain that we had the standoff with. And she's awesome, but she just came in one day to be an extra. And well, hey, let's give her a couple of lines, and she knocked those out of the park. And now she's just like a major part of our cast. And but anyway, we find our people by chance, more or less, but we augment that with the people that come in from Charlotte that are real actors. I shouldn't say real actors, that's terrible, but you know what I mean. They're professionals.
Yeah.
Their
They're
goal
real
is to be actors, whereas our goal here is to have fun and salute Star Trek. Yeah.
They're
Before we move on to the next thing, I just want to do this quick 2 super chats. Not a band account puts in $2. Will you get a UFP assignment, Earth to Time Warp? Will you get a UFP assignment, Earth to Time Warp? Don't know what they mean.
I think they mean, will you ever get the assignment to go back in time like Kirk did and catch the pilot? Like, do that sort of mission.
Yeah, kill Hitler or something.
Well, it's a bit of a further mission than they went on, but okay.
Matt Boardman, $5. I might know a few things about transporters. So if you need help with transporter effects, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the next things I wanted to talk about quickly was one thing that really stood out to me was the communications officer in the sign language. I thought that was a fantastic inclusion because that's what Star Trek's about. So tell me a little bit about that character. And
sure.
Well, also briefly, it feels so not a thing, which is also appropriate. It's not a statement; it's just an officer. Yeah. So credit to that as well.
And that's my wife Tracy, and I met her. I was going through a nasty divorce, and so was she. And we talked online all the time, and then we met, and she said, "I'm deaf," and I go, "It doesn't matter to me." We made a connection. And met that girl, and I knew I was going to marry her the first time I saw her. And we started doing the Star Trek fan stuff, and she was raised where she can talk very well for someone who's completely deaf. So we would include her in our shows, and Randy would do a line that she could pronounce the words. And I felt bad that I was taking her down to Kingsland, Georgia, and she only had one line. So I asked Randy, I go, what do you think of just going the opposite direction? Instead of doing one line that she can pronounce, let's just make her deaf. And he goes, well, how can we have her speak? And I go, well, the Universal Translator. Because Universal Translator can take the spoken word and turn it into English. Why can't it take sign language? And then, she wears glasses. So I said the Universal Translator would project sign language on her glasses, which coincidentally, when we go to the movies, they have closed caption glasses that go over hers, and the closed caption hovers in front of her eyes. So, she can move her head and the closed caption just goes with her. And it makes watching the movie much more enjoyable than other closed captioning devices that movies have. And it's just worked great. And like you said, Sam, we treat it like it's nothing but a thing. And when we did the episode Silent Acknowledgement, I point that out because I learned a lot dating her and eventually marrying her, that the deaf are people. People are people, hearing or deaf. And one thing I learned about deaf women is they love to talk. My gosh, you get into a room with 5 or 6 deaf people and they're just going nuts. And they can eat too while they talk, which is amazing. But I love my wife to death, and she was never a Star Trek fan before this. And so now I have a chance to share this passion, and she gets to be on there, and she loves it, and the crew love it when we shoot her scenes because nobody has to be quiet. And so I just.
So who's ready for lunch then? Yeah, burgers. Yeah, just the loudest part of the set.
It's great. So I'm so thankful to her for being patient and being part of this. So thank you for asking that. She's wonderful.
I don't want to.
Yeah, well, it's one of the things that stood out to me, and I thought it was really great because TNG did it with Geordi, and it was just a non-thing, right? So that was just amazing to add. And for a fan film, I think that's kind of brave to do that, because it's something that I think really needs to be represented, and I think you did a fantastic job with that. So just wanted to point it out to anybody that might not have known that. So. And
Americans aren't known for even liking subtitles, let alone anything unusual like that. They can't just watch. That's why the foreign fan films do less well, because Americans just don't want to give it a chance, even though they could be incredible. So it's it's like, oh well.
Yeah. Now
we have a little bit of subtitles in our upcoming production that we're in post-production on now.
That's
we have
right.
a couple of words, couple of sentences that are spoken in Russian, and we have subtitles for that. So
by a Russian too. See, Randy finds these people. I don't know where he finds them.
I found the person first. I go to a club like an acting or video movie club, filmmaking club in Charlotte, and they meet once a month. And I met this guy there named well, he was a Russian guy, Sergey Yusinov, and I met Sergey at this club, and we became friends, and I said, say, would you be interested in doing this show if I can come up with something that would be really good for a Russian guy, and so that's where this episode that we're doing, that we're in post-production on now, came from. Was because I knew a Russian guy, so and he had a Russian friend. So we have Sergey and Vlad in this episode, and Sergey really doesn't have any lines, but Vlad just a couple of lines in Russian. So that's pretty cool. We're really excited about the one we're editing now.
Nice, awesome. I think now's a good time though for the audience to ask some questions as well. So any sort of questions you guys want, like anything. Just you guys are unique people. Have some unique questions.
Well, Fleet Pass Swiftback is here. He puts in $2. Hello, hit like. Yeah, hit like, guys. I've been talking about the likes. We're at 64 likes. we can probably do better. Oh, 65 now. See, there you go. 10 more likes. Let's get to 75. That's a good goal. So if you haven't hit like yet, hit that like button, guys.
Because you guys
yeah,
aren't new to the case. So you've been doing this for a while now. So you must have a lot of stories, a lot of knowledge of the fan film community as well. You are in America, that helps, and you obviously film at Neutral Zone, which obviously helps because you must know. I mean, do you know every other team that films there? At least know in the sense of maybe you've met them, maybe whatnot. I mean, how known are you with everyone?
We've met Ray's crew, and Ray Tessie, the owner of the Neutral Zone, and we got a lot of crossover from the crew, and Dan Scanlon, who does everything down there as the audio guy, and John Sims. Because we didn't mention John Sims about with our amazing cast, and he's in Jacksonville. He's played on Starship Farragut and did his own show, Exeter Trek, and then he's our resident Q, and he's an amazing actor. But yeah, we've got a lot of crossover from all the productions that film there.
One thing that I was looking for, and I noticed you did it, which I'm thankful for, is the thing right beside the turbo lift with the schematic of the ship. You got a Dreadnought one in there. How easy is that to change on the set? Is it just an overlay or what? What's
it is.
Yeah.
It's basically just a piece of plexiglass with this graphic behind it with 4 screws, and there's just a hole in the wall with the lights. So you just unscrew it, put it up. It's the same with the ship's plaque, the dedication plaque, which I make, and I got one at my office, and I got one for the studio, and it's just put in by screws. We have to very carefully take those out because first it had Farragut, and then it had Enterprise, and I do Dreadnought. I'm not sure if anybody else brings their own plaque when they film there. I'm just, like I said, I'm a detailed kind of guy, and I want everything to be right. So I'm always trying to improve upon my props. But yeah, I love doing that kind of stuff.
And Squadron Course has a question here. How long does it take to make each episode? Can you break that down to filming, adding effects, editing, etc.? Great question, Squadron Course. Thank you.
Well, the first thing that gets done is the script. And that
which is the hardest part. I write the scripts for Star Trek for Trekyards here. So, I understand.
Yeah. Well, the initial first draft probably takes just a long weekend, something like that, just a few days. Then the tweaking and improving the script can take months. But by the time I'm doing that, we're already talking about how we're going to do this episode. So at that point, we're in pre-production, and we start casting and planning, when we're going to shoot, that sort of thing. And that whole process, what do you think, Garrett? Maybe 3-4 months?
Yes, because we have to give people enough time to get scheduled and get time off, which is another amazing thing about this group is Randy and I sweat it. And we go, well, let's provide 3 dates. And then Randy goes, well, the first date is what's good for us. And everybody just goes with the first date. So we've never had a production scheduling snafu. Everybody just shows up, and my chief cat herder in charge down there just gets everybody on set.
We've had a couple of close calls.
Yeah, well, then there's the editing. Once we shoot everything, we shoot everything. We try to get there on a Thursday night so that we have all Friday, all Saturday, and then Sunday to round things up. So you got 2.5 days of shooting, and then comes the fun part because when we leave, we have to have the footage. We have 2 copies of the footage, and then Randy has to rename all the files, and we upload them to our cloud server. It takes about a week, and then this guy will set up all the scenes and pick the best takes. That's another week, and then comes the editing, which we can get done rather quickly. Like the last one, Passengers, I think that only took us 3 months once the footage was laid out. And then one weekend we gave Sam the CGI list, and then 4 hours later it was done.
That's not true.
It was done pretty quick. It seemed like it was 4 hours, but
I did try.
it goes quick. And then I Rainey and I have a different style of editing, and he just puts it all together. And he likes to do it in a rough, but I'll suffer the minutia, and I put sound effects and music because I really want to hear the action against the music that I'm going to choose for it, and then that helps me edit it. And then like I've already got the production that we're doing over half scored and sound effects, and then so it'll just be a matter of fine tuning it. So this will be another 3-month process.
And you guys aren't known for your use of green screen really, which obviously helps that post-production time, because if you film it, that's the footage you have. That's the end of the road. Whereas a lot of other productions, obviously, you add a digital element to it. That takes real steps,
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, our last episode, We Are Many, we used a green screen studio for this moon, and this current one we're on the shuttlecraft bay, but surprisingly, the shuttlecraft bay is falling together pretty good, and we're very happy with how it's working so far. So green screen's been kind to us. It really has.
Obviously, I encourage more and more.
For people that haven't checked out the Indiegogo yet, and by the way, guys, the link is posted, or it's pinned to the top of the chat there. So click it if you can to check out the perks and what they're up to. But
we did get another couple bucks. Thanks for donating.
Yeah. Just in case anybody hasn't gone to look at it, what is the Indiegogo for? What projects do you have coming up? Like, what's the whole plan going forward?
Because it does just say Dreadnought Dominion and Crowdfunder. It doesn't say for episode 7. Doesn't say for a specific thing. Yeah, talk about the campaign specifically.
Well, the campaign is, and we outline it in the pitch video. What costs us money, and and we want to be able to pay for our location. So we've already got one in the can, but it needs CGI. So, this crowdfunding is going to pay for the CGI for the one that we have in the can. And then we've got a pilot for another Dominion media series that we're going to kick off. And we'll be able to pay for the CGI for that. And then in February 2022, we'll go back to the studio. So we would like to have the venue fees for that. And like I pointed out in the pitch video, the venue doesn't make any money off of these fan films, but they need to pay the people that come in to help us and to literally keep the lights on, and to pay the electric bill and pay for the wear and tear of the studio. So that's where we've got this money earmarked for, is the CGI and the venue. And if there's any money left over, then we'll do a new round of costumes, because the picture I have on the Indiegogo is just, I do a whole round of costumes for every production. I don't reuse costumes except the one that I'm wearing and one Randy wears, because when I make a costume, that's my payment to the actor. So, and I don't tell them that until they put it on, and I go, how does it feel? And they go, I love it. It looks great. And I go, by the way, you can keep it when you leave. And I just, it's like trick or treat when you give candy to kids. And they know that they can take that costume home with them. It tickles me to watch their face. So I enjoy sourcing these throughout the year and building this massive arsenal of costumes, and then coming home with nothing.
That's actually a great idea. And making your own costumes is a fantastic way to make sure everything looks good and fits right. So I could probably use a custom-made one myself. This one's kind of...
I don't custom make them. I find other people that do them for me, but I do all the customization. These and these. I got an awesome young lady, Kim Ross. Kim. Now help me with the name. Kim Ross Haas, and she does these amazing badges for us, and I think I've got like 300 of them. So I think I'm good for the next couple of years.
Eternity, pretty much.
What's that?
Eternity, pretty much.
Yeah, I have enough. So it's great making those. And matter of fact, I got for the pilot of this new show, I've got 4 costumes that I have to do the rank braid, which the rank braid's expensive too, but I like everything to be perfect, and I've got some custom badges for this new upcoming pilot as well.
So I was going to say one thing I've found that, obviously I'm doing CG for my own work and I'm putting a lot of my own time in, but there are hard costs, and costumes, as soon as you add one new costume, then got to find one that you're happy with quality-wise, and if everything else is so good, how can you let substandard be the name of the game for costumes? And then you got to tailor it to them custom, and then if you need to get proper com badges or whatever, costumes they mount up so quick. And then you've got several actors. You're saying, "Oh, let's do it in this era." Well, that's 3 costumes plus customizations plus. It's astounding. I pretty much spent half of what I got extra on Indiegogo just on costumes, which is great, but also really. It's like, well, yeah. It's just a cost, isn't it? You can't really go away from that. But you want to see them pretty uniforms that look nice. Don't be so ambitious.
Sam's a sucker. He's a stickler for his uniforms.
I am. I just can't help it. Well, I attribute that to John Broughton. John Broughton and Mike Bednar of Starship Farragut. They were the guys that set the tone. And I once heard a story that John would take out a ruler and he would measure the distance from the edge of the sleeve to the rank braid, because it had to be perfect. So that you can't go wrong emulating the giants like that. And and Mike Bednar, he's my Jedi prop master, is what I call him, and he gave me so many pointers in building my captain's chair. And he's like Sam. He doesn't say your stuff sucks. He says it would be better if you did this or you did that, and a better way to do it is this. So, and love people like that who just give you their knowledge without any expectation of return. And and going back to the fan film community, I think that's what makes this community so great, is that nobody wants to keep everything a secret. It's what can I help you with? We're helping Frank Parker, who created Dreadnought Dominion, with his series, and he's asking me, "What'd you do for this? What'd you do for that?" And I go, "Here, just here. This is it."
I don't know if this sounds a bit self-congratulatory, but because so many of the different groups are using me for CG, that creates a link that you can't deny. And obviously, if you're sharing assets as well, it isn't now all these different giants very much on their own territory, because you're all connected through me at the very least, which means well, you must all work together with him. I know Sam, and it's like, well, yeah, it's far more open than it ever could be.
It's like the six degrees of Sam Cockings.
That's right.
Oy.
Sucker for costumes and good films, eh? Terrible.
Don't say that. It'll go to his head, Randy.
Takes a lot for that. But I'm excited to see what Stuart thinks of the new ship when that's finished. It's excited to see what you all think, because you guys love ships, and we like new ships.
Love new ships. Yeah.
I'm excited to see it too. So yeah, I want to know what I think. So get it done.
We had some
Fleet
questions, and you had a super chat. Good. Okay.
Fleet Pop puts in $2. Woot for 75 likes. Keep hitting like, folks. Well, you can only hit it once, but yes, if you haven't hit the like button. And there are a few other questions here.
Yeah, we had Captain Baxley. He says, who produced the graphic card, and where can I get one for that? A Hermes class scout ship. So it means the 2 things Stuart talked about. Yeah, those things.
Or the schematic thing.
Yeah, both of them. Who made those then?
The what again? Sorry.
The schematic thing beside the turbo lift and the dedication plaque. Who made those?
I made the dedication plaque. I make those out of wood and wood lettering, and I think there's a guy on eBay that does those graphics, and he sells those. He sells all kinds of stuff, and he prints them on a special transparency paper. But we were lucky to just inherit that from our series creator. Frank did that. But the dedication plaque, I like to do. I've got an Excalibur and an Enterprise up there too. And Excalibur is the ship of another series that I did for like a graphic novel type thing, and then the Dominion. So I've made a few for different customers, and they're fun to make.
Nice. But Matt Ballman asks, a chance of a Top Gun crossover?
You stole that from me. You stole that from me.
You can do the next one, Stuart.
Only if
We
we can get
start
Tom
some
Cruise.
What's that?
Only if we can get Tom Cruise.
There you go. I agree.
But
then-
your
then
assignment
confirmed.
Earth episode.
Yeah.
Run into an F-14 instead of an F-105 starfighter. Tony says, have you worked at Neutral Zone Studio since they installed the view screen? Proud to have my name on there as a donor for that project.
No, we have not. But Gary,
Yeah, when I saw pictures of that, and I had people who work on our show down there, I said, go grab a video camera, set it up in front of the captain's chair, and video me 3 or 4 minutes of that view screen, and they did. So even though Randy and I haven't seen it, that view screen first appeared in any fan film that was Dreadnought Dominion. So we were the first ones to show it on there, and Ray Tessie even used footage that we put on for the show and put it on his Facebook page, which was pretty cool. So we have it on the last one, Passengers, and we're going to have it again on the More Things That Change episode. So we haven't seen it. I can't wait to see it.
Fleet pause a question too, Stuart?
Yeah, I was trying to decipher that one, but okay. I just tuned in. You're obviously set in the TOS time frame. Are there any conflicts in particular the show takes place during? So anything like Gorn, more, I don't know. Is there anything timeline-wise that you guys have fit into your story at all?
Gary would know that more than me.
I don't really. That's one thing we stay away from. And when Randy writes something, it's different because there were significant things that happened around the time frame that we're doing this, but just like the world, there's so many stories going on here. You don't need to focus on something that's happening, and so we may reference a starbase or something like that, but we stay away from referencing Captain Kirk or anything of that nature. Yeah. I think the Brousseau coming away from the Lexington was probably the only thing that we referenced. As a matter of fact, we referenced it again in Passengers, where our Q said, if Captain Brousseau had stayed aboard the Lexington when Commodore, oh goodness gracious, the Lexington's Commodore had retired, and that character was on TOS. So no, we don't really cross over into anything that happens in Star Trek. We like to be on our own out there.
Yeah, a lot of fan films like to do a sequel to something, or have characters that were in TOS episodes and bring them back and do something else with them and all that. And there's nothing in the world wrong with that. There's plenty of room in the fan film universe for that, but it's just not our thing. We like to come up with whole brand new characters, brand new situations and planets and all that stuff.
Well, Captain Baxley says they are respectful of established TOS canon. I haven't seen every episode, but there is an ongoing Cold War with the Klingons and the Romulans, and then Gary could answer that question. So you just did. So thank you.
Yeah, we have a recurring villain, our Romulan commander. So she was in one episode, Redemption of Medusa. She was in Passenger, so we want to bring her in again. And she does an amazing job of being just so menacing, welcoming. Hey, how you doing? And then, what are you doing? So we really enjoy working with her. And we're going to feature some Klingons in our Jump Off series that we're going to be filming. That
was like my next question. Where you guys have stayed away from Klingons, but they're so iconic in ships.
We've had one.
Yes.
And I think we saw him blow up in Red Medusa, but it wasn't really Klingons. It was just like, oh, it's a cargo ship. And I killed him because I blew him up. But,
Yeah.
but you know,
technically,
yeah.
Our jump off series, we're going to have a Klingon battle, and it'll also be the first time that we've got some action. So I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to have an actual space battle and see a Dreadnought. It's not going to be the Dominion, but it'll be another Dreadnought punching the heck out of some Klingons.
I know we've obviously done this for the new thingy we're building and designing, and obviously the Dreadnought we refitted, and we'll talk about that in another video. I mean, is there an inclination to keep evolving and showing more of the TOS era? You know, obviously we've got Frankston's ship and the space station. Do you guys want to do more original TOS things? So rather than other fan films, they keep showing a colony and just a shuttle. Have an iteration, a side view, a one nacelle, interesting new things. Is that something you want to keep pushing towards, or is it, happy with what you got?
Well, I like using the expression. We like to do things out of the box, and we like to, if we can dance out of the box, away from the box, on top of the box. That's what we like to do. And so, doing these different things, and it's only constrained by this guy's imagination down there. And he wrote Passengers and came up with, and helped Frank with Crossroads and things of that nature. So Randy could think up new things. I mean, he came up with an alien who was the moon. So that's as out of the box as we could possibly get. That's no moon. That's an alien.
well, he covers the entire surface of the moon. He's not the moon.
It's supposed to be.
Area 51 Area 51 throws in $5. Made a contribution to Dreadnought Dominion, and now to Trekyards. Trekyards. So live the dream.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, another few bucks.
And Colin S says, will USS Dominion ever be upgraded to upgraded Dreadnought, or will it be one of the early underarmored and underpowered messes?
Well, we've briefly considered that. I'm looking for a motion picture type model for the Dominion, and I've got a TMP uniform, and I've threatened Randy, like, hey, let's do a whole episode where we're on green screen, so we could use some of Sam's amazing interior shots of that. We don't know if it'll be our swan song episode, kind of like what STC did, or an alternate universe type thing. We like playing in alternate timelines and alternate universes. Those are fun.
Or why don't you just have future Brousseau come back and talk to past Brousseau?
I've thought about that too.
And then you make Cage Brousseau, and now you got 3 Brousseaus who just don't age. Wow. 30, 50, and 70. I don't know, whatever the age is. It's like, wow, I look good for 70. I look terrible for 30,
That's right. Well, I grade my hair. I've graded my hair before. Yeah, I can't do it naturally.
And no one else has to learn any lines. It's all you.
That's right. That's right.
Because I'm certainly, not to give too many spoilers, but I'm going to do a thing where a future Keeley comes back to talk to current Keeley, and that'll be like, ha! Learn every line. Ha! I don't have to do anything in the episode. Ha! It's satisfying. But I think we're almost out of time, guys. So any final questions, throw them in. And we certainly on my side almost at £3,000, £3,000. And obviously, as we both know, any extra helps a lot. So any final questions or any comments you guys have on Indiegogo, on the perks perhaps? What's there to offer? How important the sense of getting something cool and limited, because we can never sell things. That's kind of the whole point. So if you want to get something cool, it really is a case of supporting Indiegogo to get a cool thing, because you can't buy this stuff from any of us.
We've got a couple.
Area 51 says. Area 51 says this live stream is making me want to get a custom tailored TOS captain's uniform.
There you go. There you go. Well, we've got some really unique items on our perks. The first really unique is a Max Worlds Entertainment Dreadnought Dominion comic. So Trey from Max World is drawing the episode of Barrelful of Quincy's. And I included one little snippet, which I thought he captured my jaw just perfect on that. So I was really happy with that. So he's drawing the first 3 pages as well as a cover, and we're doing digital copies for that. And then we've got our Dreadnought Dominion trading cards, which are cards that I made up for every character, every prop, every ship. Yeah, there's a deck right there, and they're no joke. They look great.
A lot of cards.
We've got a set of cards for that. For the 500 level, we've had 2 people grab that for associate producer, so their names will be on there. But the piece de resistance is the personalized action figure, which I really had fun doing. And that's at the 750 and the 1000 level, and the 750 level comes with your own personalized action figure card that goes into the packaging. And I got a picture of my wife's action figure, which I used to embarrass my stepchildren to no end as their friends came over, and I would say, look, how many of your friends' moms have an action figure? I'm saying, please, Gary, please. But they thought it was cool. So the 750 is the action figure, which, those are sourced by Playmates. So I'm not selling them. I'm just doing them up for the contributors. And then the Admirals package is every perk that we have. The associate producer, the voiceover part, the cards, the personalized card, and the figure. And we actually had a gentleman grab that. I was like, yay! And, I put March 22. I would do this, and I said, I want to do it now. I want to get your stuff taken care of, because I like creating. And Trey and Randy and I were talking. What would we be doing if we weren't making Star Trek fan films? And I go, be doing something, because I just can't sit watching television a lot. I got to create something. And that's goes back to Randy's desire to make something. He does amazing videos. That guy taught me everything I know about video editing, and he's another one of these people that push. Learn this, and so I owe everything from my fan films to everybody, to you, Sam, and to Randy and Vance, and like I said, John Broughton and Mike Bednar. But yeah, perks. They're fun. They're unique.
So Fleet Pass. So next question: if you feature more Klingons, are you going to feature smooth-headed, ridge-headed, or both types of Klingons? He didn't add Discovery Klingons in there.
I was about to say, yeah, there's 3 types if you want to be very technical.
As Randy will tell you, I'm Canon centric. It's got to be what you saw on the 3rd season of Star Trek. And to his annoyance, when he throws in a sound effect, I go, that's not what they had on 3rd season. So ours will be traditional mustache, dark-skinned Klingons. We did with Randy's friend who played the freighter captain, which he did an amazing job. And so we've got a gentleman over in the Netherlands who is going to be our Klingon, our jump-off pilot that we're going to have.
Although, just to be clear, Canon says there are both, because the virus was well before. There's only 6 planets, I believe, in the entire Empire were changed. So most Klingons aren't smoothheads. The vast majority aren't. So it's just they happen to be sent on the border with the Federation, because I guess hashtag they're not worth it. I don't know.
That's right.
It's cannon fodder.
Makes infiltration of Federation space easier. We've gone over this.
Yes. So the canon would be to have both. Just saying. It's just far more expensive to have both. But it'd be really cool to see this. Really cool to see the proper bumps in the TOS uniform, because that's uniform's canon either way. I don't think fan films have ever done that. Actually have the proper full Klingon in the classic, with the classic weapons and props. That'd be kind of cool. I haven't seen that before.
Tony Armstrong says, have you ever had any cease and desist communications from CBS about being within their fan film guidelines? I know that is part of that's part of what scares him. So,
well, The guidelines are exactly what that word entails. They're guidelines. They're not laws. And and if they give you 15 guidelines and you follow 5 of them to the letter, and you skirt the other ones and you break one, I don't think that you're worth a cease and desist letter. And so Randy and I go out of our way to abide by guidelines. And that's why Randy puts part 1 and part 2 on all our episodes that go, and they're not episodes, they're productions. The productions that exceed.
They go over 15 minutes.
So we are trying to follow, if not the letter, but the spirit of the guidelines. But no, we have yet to receive any communication from CBS. So silence is golden, and we don't want to poke the bear. We're very grateful that they're letting us play with their IP and in their sandbox.
Well, now all the CBS folks that watch us, they're on to you. So watch out.
Oh no!
This is a Novo shirt. It's in my closet.
Yeah, mine too. Honest.
Mine's not, but I'm too far. They can't get me because at least CBS is in your continent. I'm too far away. Oceans.
That's right.
And then briefly before we jump out, Gary, do you want to talk about being in the Trek Shorts collection? Yes. and what you're doing for that?
Well, you've got me playing an admiral in the Next Generation, so I've got my Admiral Next Generation uniform and
which one?
The aforementioned the doomed which Admiral uniform?
Right.
Yeah, there's been a few in TNG.
Well, the post Nemesis Admiral's uniform, the black with the gray and the gold. I really like that. Plus, it helps this figure look a little bit better. So I go with that one. But looking forward to that, graying up the hair and being something a little bit different than my Brousseau character.
You're gonna be a badmiral, or you're gonna be a good admiral?
I'm gonna be an admiral that thinks he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's oh,
so you're gonna be a bad admiral. Okay.
I'm sitting in my nice safe star base, and you go do what you need to do and report back to me when it's done.
And having considered writing it, the idea of a admiral, but and Gary knows he's done a read through. It's like there's a certain level where power corrupts in a sense, where the underlings don't. You can throw away people's lives more so than you could if you were a lower rank. That just kind of came with the script. That's so weird. I didn't even intend that. Wow. The Brad will curse. And then also Brousseau's back as well, if you remember in one of the episodes. And you'll be talking to someone on green screen while not on green screen, so you've got to act against nobody. Always fun. Okay.
Then the actors who act with me are used to acting with nobody too, so I'm very used to
There we go.
That's great. I would be very grateful if you would send a cease and desist, Alex Kurtzman. Thanks. That's a squadron course, but hey, that'd be great. Well, any more questions for anybody out there would be fantastic. We have 83 likes. If we get a few more likes, would be great. Even 2 more, just to get up to 85 would be 85. Awesome.
Yeah. And fast super chat slot as well. Obviously, always open. Another $10 would be good, but I think we're about out. So, is there anything else you guys want to say? Throw those thoughts in.
Very, very thankful that you have us on here and you give us an audience to say, hey, help us out, and you did. We got some help out there. That was great. So those are the contributions that we enjoy, and Sam, thanks for staying up late. What am I talking about? You never sleep. So
it's only 0009. It's fine.
There's 14 more days on the Indiegogo campaign, guys. The link is pinned to the top of the chat there. If you want to go check it out, check out the perks. Check out all the cool stuff that Dominion has to offer. I'm sure they'd really appreciate it, as would we. And you'd probably, you'll benefit as well when you go check it out. So if you can contribute, please do.
And there is a new ship being revealed near the end of the campaign. So do tune in for that, because, they're not, we, combined effort here, isn't just letting, 82%, that's fine. Oh, no, there'll be this big cool thing announcing that everyone's going to enjoy. And there'll be a full Dominion Dreadnought episode on the ship next Saturday, because Saturday is right around the corner. Next Saturday, we have to film first. And now we're looking at the history of the Dominion, the 3 different models used, and Stuart's thoughts on the 3 different models used as a self-proclaimed Dreadnought expert, and maybe get their thoughts on his Dreadnought. You could equally shots fired. Dreadnought versus Dreadnought. I just sit here in the middle.
There's a battle. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. All right, guys. Looks like Area 51 has that last super chat slots, but we appreciate all you guys for watching. And I'm not sure if we're doing a live tomorrow or not. We'll have to talk about that. But anyway, until next time, I want to thank our guests, Gary and Randy, for coming by. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if you haven't checked out Dreadnought Dominion, what's wrong with you? Go check it out on YouTube. You'll enjoy it. So until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
And these are our guests.
Guys, jump in. Go.
Randy.
Gary Davis.
Yeah. All the energy.
Oh, we got some super chats coming in. Oh, the last super chat slot just got blown up. Fleetpaw, $2. Last super chat. Take it from me. No, because Matt Boardman snipes in with a snipe with $2. So I think we'll call it there, guys.
Yeah, Matt Boardman has a big
Have a
sniper
good
rifle.
one.
He just waits and then just shoots. It's very it's like, oh my god, I hear a whiz of a bullet.
Anyway, have a good